Today, we're flying on the big red plane that offered low fares between Iceland and Europe. After a former Icelandic low-cost carrier WOW went bankrupt, Play pretty much took over their whole operation with a similar business model. Coincidence? I think not. I think really the only difference was Play really only connected Europe and Iceland with the exception of 3 United States airports: Boston, New York Stewart's, and Baltimore. WOW focused on connecting more airports in the United States and Europe with a stop in Iceland, utilizing the ultra low-cost no-fares model. Alright guys, time to acknowledge it. There's been some press with the airline recently because they started up back in 2021 and ceased operations 4 years later on September 29th, 2025. Yeah, that was just the other week and only 6 days after I took this flight. It was a close one, and little did I know it too. The plan today is taking what was one of Play's 10 aircrafts from Baltimore, the final United States airport they served, up to their home in Reykjavik. So, how well did Iceland do ultra low cost flying? How much did I really pay for this ticket? And Play only lasted a handful of years. So, why was that? What were they like that made them so unsuccessful? Are they really that bad? Or just a hidden gem that nobody knows much about? What's going on, guys? Casey Flower here. Let's go check in and find out. Checking in online is pretty straightforward. After selecting who's traveling, we'll then confirm that we aren't carrying anything bad. We'll enter all our travel documentation information before finally having the options to change our seat and add an airport check-in service. And just like that, the boarding pass is ready. There's no app for Play, so I just got the boarding pass as a PDF. I had an extremely tight connection here in Baltimore, as my Southwest flight into here got delayed quite a bit. I was left with less than a half hour in between the Southwest gate arrival and the boarding door closure of Play. I had to just go for the first open seat I saw closest to the front on the flight in, and had to run off the plane, through the terminal, switch concourses, and through TSA all over again, so I didn't really have time to film my regular pre-boarding segment at the gate. That's also why I filmed the intro at my home airport before I left, and not Baltimore. Historically, this is probably the closest I've ever been to missing out on an airline I've taken that has ceased operations. Anyway, Tango Foxtrot Papa Papa Charlie will be the 3-year-old A320neo up to Iceland tonight, delivered brand new in October of 2022. I made the hike back to seat 27A, with the width of 18 inches, the standard low-cost carrier pitch of 29, and a recline of 3. Alright, welcome aboard the Play Airbus A320neo up to Reykjavik. Yeah, the seat so far, it's pretty similar to what a standard low-cost carrier seat would be, dimension-wise, so pretty thin. Pretty minimal legroom and width to it, but there are a few notable things. Exhibit A, we have in-seat power down there, so we have USB A and C down there. They're not on, so I'll believe that when I see it if it actually works. But assuming it does actually work, we have USB A and C down there to keep our devices charged. We also have a device holder on the seat back along with a cup holder. So that might indicate that we have a bring your own device entertainment browser. We may go into the Wi-Fi settings later and find one and connect to it and see what that's all about. So maybe we'll get free entertainment with that if we get that device holder. But yeah, we'll see about that once we're airborne. are airborne out of Baltimore and on our way up to Reykjavik. Alright, first things first, I take back all those nice, notable things I said about the seat in the beginning. The NC power is there, but it don't work. For one, my cord doesn't even fit in the USB-C inlet for it, so the inlet for that is just way too big for my cord to fit in there. It just kept falling out. But even if I held it in there, my phone wouldn't charge. So it's not even on. There's no light on it or in it or anywhere indicating that it's on, so it's not on. I'm sure it's nice to have when it works, but for now it's not on and don't rely on it. And also, to a little bit of surprise, but not really, there's no internet browser or entertainment browser to connect to. So I went into my Wi-Fi settings and nothing came up, so it'll be disconnected. So the device holder we got is primarily just for downloaded content, which is nice. But we do have a menu in our seat back pocket, which we'll look through here in a minute, of the food and drinks we got. I would think it's all buy on board, as the low cost, no frills, only pay for what you need structure suggests. I would think everything's buy on board, but we'll see if there's anything free in there. I doubt it, but we'll see. I'll probably get something to serve as my dinner. But I saw a flight attendant go by with a basket of some sort of edibles, so that's gonna be happening here in a sec to kick off the service. But yeah, as of now, the sunset is going on outside as we make our way up the northeast corridor, just making our way over Philadelphia right now. So that's nice. But yeah, we'll go ahead and see what they got for us in the snack and drink service. Just before the crew comes through with the food and drink service, we'll take a look at that menu and see what we got and get our order ready. What do we got here? A meal on a nice picnic table and a nice cloth there, with a pizza, some drinks, and a whole meal there. See if they actually got all that in here. So, open it up. Same meal there on the table. We got the hot dishes. So for 10 euros, for the most part, we got a hot ham and cheese, pizza margarita, some chicken, all that. Got the baked goods down here. For the morning flights, the nice hot stuff. Here are the drinks for 3. Hot drinks down here for also 3. Did you know that our call sign is player? I did, and so far play is a player here in the menu. We got the alcoholic drinks for 9 and 10 and 12. Mixers, smaller stuff, all that here. Even a little tidbit on the bus going into town. All the alcoholic drinks here. And now here are the treats and smaller snacks for $5 and $5.50 for the most part. Chips, some candy, Mentos, quicker bites, the smaller stuff if you don't want a full meal. Then we got a model plane, a little tempting. Model 321 Neo there, along with a game of Yahtzee, some earplugs, and some puffin there. Also get a SIM card. If you didn't come prepared for that, you can get a prepaid SIM card so your phone works, as well as Iceland's beer there. So yeah, pretty standard for an ultra low cost carrier's menu there. Everything is buy on board, as to be expected, with the no frills, only pay for what you need model. I really have only seen them come through the cabin with a cart for food and meals and snacks and another cart for the beverages once, and that was about it. And I really don't think they're gonna come back through again, if I'm being honest with you. The front galley curtain is closed where the food and meal and snack cart came from. That's closed. And I haven't seen anyone come through with a back galley again.
I did kind of briefly see them come through offering stuff, but I feel like they only really stopped at select rows, and they were really fast. And you had to initiate everything, of course, to get their attention, but it was also pretty difficult to get their attention when they came through, so that isn't ideal. Which kind of stinks, because that margarita pizza from the menu is looking kind of tempting. I'm a little hungry. I want my dinner now. But yeah, if absolute worst comes to worst, I press the flight attendant call button and order it that way. But that's going to be really awkward, and I really don't want to do that to draw attention, even though I'm drawing attention right now by talking into my microphone and into a camera, but drawing more attention by pressing the flight attendant call button and ordering something that way. But yeah, it is what it is. Also, a little funny, I just noticed, was the in-seat power. It did come on after we leveled off, but the one at my seatmate's end in the aisle, both of them are on. The USB A and C, both of them are on. There's a green light, and they're showing that they are working. But with me, I only got the USB A on working for me, which isn't cool, not ideal, because my USB A cord is up there, stowed away, so I don't have access to it. And of course, the USB outlet isn't on either, the one I have right now. So yeah, I don't know about that at all. So bottom line is, don't depend or rely on the in-seat power working. That goes for every other airline and plays no exception. But yeah, back to the service thing. They've been coming through with quite a bit of trash runs, as if they were actually thorough with the food and beverage service, but they weren't. I haven't seen the food carts go past row like 24 or 25, and I'm at row 27. So the food cart has not gone to my row at all. And the drink cart, when it was in the aft cabin area, it only really went by it, and the crew who were working it didn't really ask for anything. You would have to initiate it and reach out when you could, and it was just really difficult to get their attention overall. So yeah, I don't know. I really don't know at this point. But yeah, it's pretty dark out there, pretty difficult to get anything outside. I have my personal light up there on right now to give me light as I film this, but yeah, pretty difficult to get anything overall. But yeah, we'll just keep on chugging north with only a handful of hours to go.
Yeah, a good hour went by and I got hungry. Despite my slight discomfort doing it, I caved in and hit the magic button to order. Can I order a hot meal?
Of course.
Can I get a pizza margarita?
Of course.
Thank you.
Anything else for you?
I think that's it, thank you.
Yeah, I got hungry enough to cave and press the call button to order my dinner. I put it in quotes because it's more of a medium to heavy snack than anything else. But yeah, here's what we got. The margarita pizza on play. I was kind of expecting a pizza slice for some reason, but I don't really think it showed that in the illustration on the menu. But yeah, that's what we got. I'll take it. I'm happy with it. I can order another one if I wanted to. But yeah, that was 10 euros I paid for. Which, that for 10 euros, yeah, that's quite a bit. So it is pricey. Yeah, it's not much. But whatever, it is what it is. That's all you're gonna get. There was no competition, so they can just charge however much they want for something that small. But, you know, they shouldn't. It's a high price to pay for something that small, and there's no competition. But yeah, maybe it's good. Let's try it out. Remember the pizza they had in your high school cafeteria that they had for lunch that was pretty warm? It's that. It's basically that. I mean, yeah, it tastes like margarita pizza, but it's that. Yeah, I don't really know how else to kind of explain it. I guess you could say grab and go, microwave pizza, but yeah, that's really all it is. But yeah, for what it is, I approve. Just the €10 price tag is just a little steep. I think that light source over there might be the aurora. I might be wrong, but it's certainly coming across that way on camera. It's pretty cool nonetheless. But yeah, we have just about 2 hours left in the flight, and there's really not much to report nor look outside at. So I'm going to try to get some excuse for rest between now and top of the sun. So I'm just going to lean back, see how good the seat is with sleeping and getting rest, see how comfortable it is. But yeah, recline, sit back, relax for the next hour or two, and I'll talk to you guys once we hit top of the sun. Alright, we've started our descent down into Reykjavik. Getting rest in the seat was honestly not too bad. I got some pretty good rest. Got a pretty good power nap in. My only concern was just the seat firmness, but you can feel it, but it didn't end up being that big of an issue in trying to rest. If you are tired enough, you can probably fall asleep and get some rest, but the firmness is there, you can feel it, but it ended up not really being that big of an issue once I got rested. The legroom isn't great either, but I'm also short enough to overcome that. But yeah, it was alright for what it was. It got the job done. But anyway, we are almost ready to land and have about 25 minutes left. So I'll use the rest of the time on the way in to rate the airline using my channel original rating system. I call it the Raleigh rating scale because my first name is Raleigh. If you're new here, I use this scale to rate and review the flights after every one of my airline reviews with 6 different categories to see how well the airline did at each. But if you're not new here, welcome back. How do you think Play did? So let's make our way into Reykjavik and find out.
The service was a 5 out of 10, as they were friendly and welcoming, yes, but barely did anything with the cart services. The one and only food cart stayed in the forward section of the cabin, and the only beverage cart stayed in the aft. It was difficult to get their attention during the service, and we would have to be the ones initiating and saying something first. I wasn't even able to film any of the carts. They just kept moving and only stopped a few times. The cart stopping at my row so I could initiate myself was even out of the question. After the few minutes the carts were out, and keeping the stopping to serve to a minimum, the crew were never to be seen again with them. They had more than enough time and crews to do a full service, and what they did was just slacking. Fast forward 2 hours, when I ordered my meal with the call button, she was friendly and more than happy to cook it and bring it out to me. It was nice that I got it in the end, but ordering it with the call button instead of the service is just non-traditional and lazy. The cleanliness was an 8 out of 10, as it was a beautiful clean cabin for the 3-year-old A320neo. Spotless seats, windows, and it was just overall a clean scene. The one thing was that there were quite a bit of gross spots on my tray table. I couldn't tell you what though. The Wi-Fi was a 0 out of 10, as nothing was available. The food was a 7 out of 10, as there were a great amount of buy on board items to choose from with what seemed to be pretty reliable availability. The food itself tasted pretty good for a stored oven meal. I'm gonna be generous and just assume that the pizza taste reflected on all the other meals too. It was just really pricey, and you really aren't getting that much for the cost. The entertainment was a 5 out of 10, as they kinda went halfway with it, and that's being generous. The only thing that was provided by the airline to keep us occupied were the USB ANC for in-seat power and device holder. There was no internet, bring your own entertainment browser, and the seatback IFE is out of the question. There was in-seat power, but it didn't come on until after we leveled off, and half of mine wasn't even working, so don't depend on that. The device holder was kinda nice, but it really only goes as far as supporting downloaded content pre-flight. The seat was a 7 out of 10, as the dimensions were pretty similar to any other high-density, low-cost carrier economy. Mediocre width, poor legroom, but decent recline, and a nice headrest. The in-seat power was present in every seat, so I'll give it that. It's probably really nice if you can get it to work out, but again, I just got unlucky. It would be a lot better and a lot more accommodating if they just had them as universal power outlets and didn't try to be hip with the USB ANC. But if you came prepared and downloaded a movie pre-flight, then that device holder probably comes in clutch. So the overall rating for the airline is going to be a 5.3 out of 10. Alright, that is us down in Keflavik. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my review on a play as much as I did on the flight. My final thoughts on it, yeah, it was alright. Pretty standard to what any ultra low cost carrier narrow body would be on an A320neo. A little bit lacking in the entertainment category. We did have the in-seat power, technically, but it just didn't work out for me, but that's just my bad luck. We did have the device holder, but no internet or entertainment browser. But that really only ends up working out if you actually come prepared with downloaded content. And then the service was also pretty gross too. They came through with the cart extremely quickly, and it was just difficult to get their attention if they ever did get to stop at your row. It kind of felt like they chose rows to stop at. Like, obviously, they didn't stop at every row, but they stopped maybe, I don't know, 10 times maybe? Yeah, it was interesting, yeah. But I had to end up pressing my call button and ordering it that way, which is very non-traditional and non-ideal, and not my preferred way of doing it. But you know what? It is what it is. They were happy. They were friendly. It worked out. The food, on the other hand, yeah, that was good. A lot to choose from. It was just all bar on board. Tasted all right, just a little pricey. But yeah, we're going to continue on to Europe later this morning on the next airline. Based on that hint, you can probably guess which airline we're going to be taking. But what aircraft are we going to be on? So I'll see you guys back here on that airline for the next adventure. Bye for now.